All right, the fellas are giddy. Well, one's giddy, one's not as giddy, but we're giddy. Aren't we giddy?
He did not just call Matthew Slater a liar. I know that. He said if anybody tells you they're enjoying them, say, I saw a big smile from Matthew Slater. It's like going back to school. It seemed like it was a fun time for him.
That's a pretty sure way to go up in flames, Steph. You never call Matthew Slater a liar. Perry's predictions, they're coming at you right now. Phil put his bold predictions up on NBCSportsBoston.com, which follow my storylines. I want you to read them both because they are epic. And the first prediction from Phil is Mac Jones will be loud.
Oh, yeah, wicked bold, Perry. Wicked. So the starting quarterback is going to be talkative? Is that what you're saying,
Phil? He was quiet last year. He got yelled at.
He was at times. And I think we will see a more emotive Mac Jones at times. We're going to see him teaching players, teammates on his offense how to do certain things, which we saw at times in the spring. And I think we're going to see a lot of stuff at the line of scrimmage because I think they're going to be willing to give him the reins in that way, Tom. Why wouldn't you when that guy right there has as much experience in the offense as anyone that makes up the offensive brain trust outside of Brian Hoyer?
Right. And that is something that flies under the radar is the role of Brian Hoyer. Let's get that guy on the griddle tomorrow at some point and find out just exactly what he's up to. But the next Perry prediction that we have is, I got nothing on that one, so let's just scoot forward. A starting wide receiver
will be dealt.
Will be dealt.
Yes.
Is a Perry prediction. That's the next Perry prediction.
Yes.
A starting wide receiver.
So the question is which one? And I think a lot of people would look at this and say Nelson Aguilar is the obvious choice here. I would say might be hard to move him. I think, Tom, they are number one, probably a little bit too deep at that position. So you're talking about 6 guys if you want to go all the way down to Trey Nixon and Tyquan Thornton and Parker and Bourne and Myers and Aguilar. Aguilar is a $9 million base salary. If you want to move him, unless a team gets desperate, I'm not sure there's going to be much out there for you in a deal. So I think the other option would be Jakobi Meyers. And I don't think it would be a good idea, but I do think it would be a Belichickian kind of move to move on from a guy in the last year of his rookie deal who might want to be a free agent next year and see what's out there for him. Especially when you're as deep as you are at that position. They're going to want to have a lot of 2 tight end sets out there, Tom. That means 2 receivers.
Let me ask you
6 guys right now.
Let me ask you a point-blank question then. Is Jakobi Meyers' production over the last 2 years, when he has been an 80-plus catch guy, 70 and 80 catch, has it been a byproduct of Jakobi Meyers or a byproduct of where he has been standing in the Patriots offense?
I think Jakobi Meyers is really good. I think he knows how to get open. I think he knows how to run routes. I think he is savvy. I think it's Jakobi Meyers. I don't think it's just where he's been standing because he's been on the outside too, and we've seen him produce a little bit out there. So, again, I wouldn't do it. I think he's your most reliable receiver right now, but I could see the Patriots doing it.
The reason I wouldn't do it, and I think Jakobi Meyers is insanely productive for a guy who does have some physical limitations in terms of quickness and ability to get open in small spaces. I wouldn't do it because Kendrick Bourne is a slightly built player, and I think the Patriots are going to heap an awful lot on his plate. And if he breaks down, you're going to need Jakobi Meyers to be your sure-handed, really kind of hub of your offense. Believe it or not, he continues to be. Next up, Phil's bold prediction is Jonnu Smith. Star of the camp, it will be Jonnu.
This might be the boldest of the bold. I just think that they know they need to get more from him, and I think they've admitted there will be streamlined offensive looks this year. I think they will favor that guy, especially if it's some of the Shanahan stuff. What I've been told from coaches who know that system, this would absolutely, quote-unquote, benefit Jonnu Smith because he's a catch-and-run guy, and even as a blocker, he's a little bit smaller. He's not your traditional hulking Y inline tight end, so it would benefit him that way too.
Can you turn him into a George Kittle-esque tight end?
He won't be that good, but I think you could do a lot of the catch-and-run stuff you do with George Kittle. He receives the ball down the field, too. I don't think that's going to be Jonnu Smith's game, but there's a lot of tight ends across the league, whether it's Austin Hooper when he was in Cleveland or the 2 that they have in L.A. with the Rams. These guys are all relatively undersized, quicker, smaller, more athletic. That's Jonnu Smith.
All right, Josh Uche is next up in the bold predictions. We're turning for home right now, but Josh Uche will be everywhere.
Off the ball.
Returns, kickoffs.
No. Off the ball and on the ball. And I'm not sure it's a great thing. They got to find a home for this guy. You got to get more out of him. And I'm not sure they know what to do with him right now.
Well, point blank, we have a player who last year in minicamp and last year in the OTAs was absolutely unblockable, who in training camp last year was electric, and they still haven't found a way to maximize his skills. Now he's not blocked out by the linebackers who are ahead of him. The opportunity yawns wide for Josh Uche. We start watching it tomorrow when training camp begins.